Yo, what's up, guys? I just got finished watching the Chicago Bulls and Indiana Pacers game. In today's video, I'm going to be recapping that game, even though it was a terrible loss from the Chicago Bulls. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about some Troy Brown Jr. trade rumors and trade talk. Also, some more buyout options for the Chicago Bulls. And Vooch is expected to play, I'd say, soon, so that's great to hear. So definitely make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Leave a quick like on today's video. It takes a second, it helps me out. And some comments and questions below today's video talking about last night's game and all the topics and rumors I'm about to talk about in today's video. But nonetheless, just a quick little recap of last night's game. You know, it was a very ugly game from start to finish from the Chicago Bulls. The Bulls just looked really exhausted. You know, I'm not trying to throw out any excuses or anything like that. I did see that they played I think I saw like 6 or 7 games in like 10 or 12 nights or something like that. So, of course, this loss sucks. You know, everyone pretty much struggled from the field. And just looking at the Pacers' record, it's not the best. They're a much better team than their record says, I believe. And going into the game, I knew it was going to be an ugly game from the Chicago Bulls. Of course, with the Bulls, I'd say missing Vooch and already lacking size, even with Vooch at times. You know, guarding Sabonis and Miles Turner was going to be a difficult task. And I think since the NBA season has started, there's been non-stop talk about how the Bulls need to add a big man at the trade deadline or at the buyout market. Definitely let me know below today's video who you guys want the Bulls to target in a possible trade or around the NBA trade deadline, when I'd say a lot of big men do get bought out, because last night the Indiana Pacers were just all over the Chicago Bulls. They out-rebounded us 59-38, especially on the offensive glass, 11-5. It was just a really ugly game. Hopefully the Bulls just forget about this game and play a much better game Wednesday versus the Houston Rockets. And while last night's game was going on, Chicago Bulls Talk on Twitter was talking about how the Bulls need to fix their big man issue sometime this season. And I agree 100%, and I think most Bulls fans understand that the Bulls need to make some move. And honestly, I feel like most fans are expecting a move to come. You know, of course, last night was an example of what we're going to see in the playoffs against a team that has, I'd say, size against us. You know, you can't win games in the regular season with a 6'6" center and a 6'4" power forward, especially in playoff time. You know, the Pacers were completely all over the Bulls, out-rebounding them on the offensive and defensive end. You know, the Bulls definitely need Vooch back soon. Thankfully, later in today's video, I'm going to be talking about that. He is expected to play soon. But definitely leave some comments and questions below today's video talking about last night's game. And, of course, the first topic I'm going to be talking about in today's video is, of course, some more big man trade talk. You know, Chicago Bulls talk continued on Twitter. And he was just talking about what he can see Arturas and Mark Eversley doing at the trade deadline. He said the only trade I can see them doing at the trade deadline here, unless a major player does become available, is one involving maybe moving someone like Troy Brown Jr. or using our TPE in a trade similar to what the Bulls did last year when they traded Daniel Tice. You know, there's no chance that I believe the Bulls front office will give up draft picks, especially with the whole tampering situation going on. Who knows when that's going to come to an end? And I really don't see the Bulls trading Coby White for a backup big man. I feel like Coby is a great piece off the Bulls bench, and if he ever just gets consistent minutes, I feel like him and Caruso should be in 6th man of the year conversations. And I agree, I don't see a point in trading draft picks or Coby White for a backup big man. I'd say, especially as of right now, big men are always getting bought out around the trade deadline. And I'm not going to lie, last season at the trade deadline when we traded, I'd say Daniel Gafford for Troy Brown Jr., I was really happy with that trade. I thought Troy Brown would be a very solid small forward off the Bulls bench. But especially going into this season, he just hasn't been in the rotation. And when he has played, he's really struggled. So definitely looking back at the Daniel Gafford trade hurts. I know a lot of Bulls fans were really, I'd just say, in love with Gafford, his energy and great defense. You know, he was always blocking shots or dunking on someone. And I agree, you know, I'm happy. You know, he's playing good basketball in Washington. I saw he just got paid a lot of money. Good for him. Definitely looking back at that trade does hurt. I definitely missed Gafford. I feel like he'd be a perfect backup center to even start right now with Vooch being out, especially with him coming off the Bulls bench if they never made that trade. So it definitely hurts. It wouldn't surprise me if the Bulls did package Troy Brown Jr. and maybe some draft picks for a big man, or just wait for someone to get bought out at the NBA trade deadline around the buyout market. And just the other day, I was talking about some potential buyout options, and Tristan Thompson was getting a lot of talk around his name. You know, there's been some drama with him and the whole Sacramento Kings. You know, the Kings are always having problems and drama in the NBA. I saw Big Dave on Twitter was talking about how the Bulls should go get Tristan Thompson, say he does get bought out. And I'm going to be honest, with the Kings struggling like always, I mean, they just fired their head coach the other day. You know, the Kings are going to do Kings things. I could see Tristan Thompson getting bought out later in this season. I mean, like I said, he was pretty much throwing some shade at the Kings, whole organization, the players, their head coach that recently got fired. It's just been a mess in Sacramento. And I would not be surprised if Tristan Thompson does get bought out. And I would 100% want the Chicago Bulls to target him. You know, he is a 6'9" power forward and center, and I know, you know, he's not like 7 feet tall. He's not the best defender, but this man can rebound the ball. I think us Bulls fans know that, especially from his Cleveland Cavaliers days. This man is always on the offensive glass, and I feel like he'd be a great pickup for the Bulls if he does get bought out. Let me know below today's video, say he does get bought out from the Kings, if you guys would want the Chicago Bulls to sign him. You know, he hasn't played that much minutes or that many games this season, but in 11 games played for this season, he's put up about 5 points per game and 5 total rebounds per game. And like I said, you know, he's not the biggest guy. I mean, he's solid 6'9" for a power forward and center, but he's very active on the glass. And for his career, he's averaging 9 points per game and about 9 total rebounds per game. I believe he'd be a great veteran pickup for the Chicago Bulls, say he does get bought out. I'd be 100% interested in that. Definitely let me know below today's video if you guys would be. And the final topic in today's video is some more big man talk. You know, it's some more great news that just came out. You know, of course, Vuce has been out for the past few games, and especially last night versus the Pacers, the Bulls badly missed his rebounding and honestly his defense. I feel like Vuce gets too much hate on the defensive end. You know, he's not going to block your shot, but he's always in the right place, always getting the rebound. He's just a very solid defender. Billy Donovan did say Vuce would travel with us to Houston tomorrow. He's going to work out again tomorrow. I don't have an update on his availability yet. You know, he said this after the Pacers game. He's out of the COVID protocol, so that's great to hear. But whether he can play with our team, I'm not sure. That's going to be up to the doctors. You know, no matter what, if he plays versus Houston or not, he is expected to play sooner rather than later. I'd say sometime this week for the Chicago Bulls. So that's a great thing to hear. The Bulls have been desperately missing Vuce's defense, offense, and especially his rebounding and just his size in general. So definitely let me know below today's video talking about the whole Troy Brown Jr. trade talk, you know, the whole Daniel Gafford trade. We definitely miss Gafford right now. You know, the Bulls possibly being interested in Tristan Thompson. Vuce expected to return sooner rather than later. Thank you guys for all the love on the channel and the past few videos. I really do appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching today's video. Have a good one.